join us to lead us in Christian prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة أن لا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة الذي كنتم توعدون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم. ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. فاتحة.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Holy Father, I ask for your continued guidance. I want to thank you for all that you have done for us in this commission. I pray that the decision we make and the words that we speak will be guided by your Holy Spirit in the interests of the country. As you have promised to be with us always and bring the same, and being the same yesterday, today, and forever, we ask that your Holy Spirit will remain with us throughout this period. All this we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Sir, can you please call the witnesses?
Good morning, Mr. Witness number 1 and number 2. Welcome back to this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters for continuation of your testimonies before this Commission. Before I yield the floor to Madam Chair, I wish to remind you that, as usual, you are still under oath. Madam Chair, over to you.
Good morning, Mr. Tamura. Good morning, Mr. Sanya. We are happy to have you back. Council, can we proceed, please?
Sure. Good morning, Chairperson and Commissioners. Good morning, Mr. Sanya, Mr. Tambra. Assistant Registrar, please. This is Kuntu Area Council's GPPA file 1 of 2022.
Council, may I just find out, were we done with the KMC file of 13 of 2022? Yes,
I believe so. It was the commissioners were asking questions before we ended yesterday.
Yes, I just wanted to confirm.
Yes, I believe so, yes.
All right, thank you.
Is it Mr. Tambura?
Yes,
You're dealing with the file? Okay. Let me refer you to the Kuntur Area Council meeting minutes of the Contracts Committee dated 7th February 2022.
Yes, Council.
Okay. Now, let me just find out. Does your institution get a lot of applications for procurement in respect of boreholes?
Boreholes is not very common from councils, mostly from the Ministry of Fisheries.
Okay. So, are you familiar with borehole procurement?
The process to be followed, yes.
Okay. Have you ever conducted any market surveys in respect of such procurements?
Specifically on boreholes, no, Council.
So would you have an idea about the cost of constructing one?
Depending on the requirements for boreholes, the cost may vary. Yeah.
Or do you have an idea of the ranges? Like maybe what's the lowest range that you can remember and what's the highest range?
For boreholes, those that I have come across is normally between around 200,000.
Around 200,000?
Yes.
Okay. So to the minutes dated 7th February 2022, the Kuntaur Area Council has decided that they're going to construct 3 boreholes for 3 different communities. They have said that there are funds in their account for this purpose, and the ceiling for each borehole is pegged at $649,160. And they have said that after a thorough discussion, all agreed to apply restricted tender method. The reason advanced for this restricted tender is less cumbersome, and considering the implementation period is within first quarter. Secondly, council have good experience of intended suppliers who have good reputation in borehole drilling, and some engaged more than once. The 4 suppliers that are to be invited are, and they've put all the 4 suppliers are registered with GPPA. The contract committee unanimously agreed to evaluate the 4 bidders based on the documents provided. They observed that they complied with the payment terms and the technical specifications. Now, just to be clear, how many bidders are required as a minimum for restricted tender?
5, Council.
Okay.
Sorry, Council. Are you reading the minutes?
Yes.
For the 7th of February?
Yes.
I haven't seen the listed suppliers.
They didn't put a list. They just said that all of them are registered with GPPA.
But they are not contained in the minutes.
They're not contained in the minutes, no.
Thank you.
Now, let me refer you to Form 100.
Yes, Council.
They have indicated that there's budget availability, is that right?
Yes, Council.
And they have said that the procurement request is part of the annual procurement plan.
Yes, sticked.
Now, do you have a procurement plan for Kuntaur Area Council for that year?
Yeah, all submitted procurement plans, there's a particular file for it. We can always confirm whether Kuntaur Area Council has actually submitted.
Please, and I believe, Mr. Sanya, we had asked previously for other procurement plans. Can you ensure that we get all the procurement plans that you have for that period, for all the councils?
I will. I have the box with me here, which I intend to submit, hopefully during or before we close today.
Okay, thank you. But, Mr. Tambra, please note for this area council as well.
Okay, Council.
Thank you. I refer you to the Kuntaur Area Council's evaluation report dated 21st March 2022.
Yes, Council, 21st March.
Okay. Now, just to confirm as well, they did not use the evaluation form that GPPA provides. As in, if you check the file, there's no...
Yes, the standard evaluation form is not used here.
And I believe Mr. Sanya has said that it was mandatory.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So for the letter dated 21st March 2022, which is sent to your, or addressed to your Director General, they have said that following the opening of the bidding documents by the prospective bidders to the Council for the construction of 3 boreholes within our jurisdiction, the bidding documents were read out in the presence of the contractors. The first bid to be opened was Baisa Lateral Drilling Company and made the following submissions: 3 copies of bid documents, 2 originals, and a copy of bid document. Copies of key personnel. Bid security of $1,252,820. Similar contracts worth more than $700,000. Quoted $627,160 from Bayern and $624,660 for Jam again. Equipment and registration with GPPA. Now, are these the details that are taken usually at the bid evaluate at the bid? These are what are taken at the bid opening usually. But if you look at the letter, it seems like they did the opening and the evaluation with the contractors.
Yes. During bid opening, you can also
evaluate at the same time.
The same day, in fact.
In the presence of the contractors, it doesn't matter?
No. The bid
Okay.
opening, the contractors can be present, but evaluation, no.
Okay. So Sikandi Enterprises submitted the following documents: 2 copies of bid documents with no original, no copies of key personnel, no bid security was provided, no similar contracts provided worth $700,000, quoted $1,097,833 for Kofa and Buntung, no evidence of equipment provided, registration with GPPA. Bulmano Construction Company made the following submission: 1 original copy of bid documents with no copies, copies of key personnel provided, bid security provided $12,900, similar contracts provided worth $600,000, quoted $648,515 for Kofa and Buntung, provided evidence of equipment, no evidence of registration with GPPA. Kintes Shipping Enterprise made the following submission: provided 1 original copy of bid document with no copies, copies of key personnel provided, bid security provided $14,000, subcontracts provided worth $450,000, quoted $647,000 for Kofa and Buntung, provided evidence of equipment, provided evidence of registration with GPPA. And they've said, based on the above assessment, the contract committee have agreed to award Baisa Lateral Drilling Company $627,160 from Bayern and $624,660 for Jamagen Boreholes construction, while Mbulmano $648,515 for the construction of a borehole at Kofa and Buntung cluster borehole. In light of the above, I would be grateful for approval to be given for the award of the above contracts. Now, you said that in your experience, the boreholes usually cost $200,000.
That's my personal experience.
Pardon?
Sorry, yeah, that's my personal experience, Council.
So where an area council has sent a procurement file to your office for boreholes upwards of $600,000 each, is this something that your office would flag and ask them to conduct a survey, or would your office conduct a survey to check whether this is not exorbitant?
Yeah, just like as my colleague said the other day, most of the time we conduct market research. we conduct market research just to confirm whether the estimates are really realistic or not. In this particular case, I'm not sure whether that was done. However, if you look at the borehole here, it is as if they are meant for communities. And normally, most of the boreholes, from experience, those that are meant for communities, most of the time the scope is wider than individual boreholes.
And this is something that you know through your personal capacity?
Sorry?
This is something that you know through your personal capacity? As in, you had said earlier that from your personal experience. Is this something that you know from your personal experience?
Yes. What I meant was, like, personally, these are experiences that I have seen, boreholes being dug around 200,000. That's what I'm saying. But this one...
So the 200, sorry, before you continue, the 200,000 boreholes that you've seen have been for what type of...
Yes, because like most of my friends have borehole in their homes, and that's what they normally tell me, something like that.
So knowing that, even though the boreholes are for communities, knowing that the range is 200,000, would it still not prompt your office to look into this? I mean, I'm not saying that it's not possible that it's 600,000, but we don't know. And I think that, you know, that would have been something that your office would have checked, which is why I'm asking.
Yes, my colleague want to come in.
Council, I think what he is trying to explain between community and individual boreholes is like when you look at the community one, he did mention about the scope. Now, the community one may even involve a reticulation system where pipes must be extended to certain parts of the community with taps. Now, and that will obviously also determine the cost. Now, if it is individual within a compound, sometimes apart from the borehole, you may have only 1 or 2 taps. But for the communities, the scope is wider in the sense that the pipes must be extended together with other facilities to other parts of the community.
So do you have a market survey for boreholes for communities?
No, we don't.
So he said that, I believe it's the Ministry of Fisheries, that you get procurements in respect of boreholes for? Was that right?
Yes,
Yes,
I said
yes.
So do you know whether those procurements were for communities or they were for ministries?
Yeah, the submission from the Ministry of Fisheries, most of the boreholes that we received were meant for communities.
And the range? Because I asked you about the range and you told me after you already mentioned the Ministry of Fisheries. So what's the range for those?
Fisheries, we can really confirm that because I think even currently there is a request on that.
Yes,
We
please
can confirm.
confirm. But Mr. Sanya, I think you were saying that you don't have a market survey for boreholes, borehole construction for communities.
No, we don't.
Now, let me refer you to your GPPA. Oh no. This is the Kuntoro Area Council letter directed to the Managing Director, Gambia Public Procurement Authority. It's dated 2nd April 2022.
Yes.
And they have said that it is with great honor that they seek approval. Oh no, before that one. GPPA's letter dated 31st March 2022.
Yes, Council.
So your office gave approval. So you've said the following a review of the evaluation report and recommendation for award of contract for the construction of 3 boreholes. Our review revealed that the unsuccessful bidders have already been notified. Hence, you violate GPPA regulation. Unsuccessful bidders shall be notified after obtaining a formal decision on your evaluation report and recommendation of award from the authority. You are strictly advised to avoid such occurrence in your future tenders. Notwithstanding, approval is herewith as follows. Awarded to Baisa Lateral Drilling Company for the construction of a borehole at Bayan at a bid price of 627,000 odd. Baisa Lateral Drilling Company for the construction of a borehole at Jamagen at $624,000 odd. Awarded to Mbulmano Construction Company for the construction of a borehole at Kofa and Buntu at a bid price of $648,000 odd. And you said that the authority's decision is based on the related attached documents and recommendations of your contracts committee in its signed minutes of the meeting of 21st March 2022 as per the powers bestowed on it. Now, in the documents that they sent to your office,
Yes.
there's only one bid security in the file.
Okay.
I need you to confirm whether this is right or not.
That's the bid security from, I think, Sun Science Insurance.
Okay, and it's in respect of Bulmano Construction.
Yes, Council.
Now, it says that by this bond, Bulmano Construction, Banyaka Village, WCR, hereinafter called the contractor, and Sunshine Insurance Company Limited, having a registered office situated at 78 Nelson Mandela Street, Banjul, hereinafter called the insurer, are held and firmly bound onto the managing director, Gamtel, as obliged hereinafter, etc., etc., etc. Now, the bid security should be in favor of Kuntaur Area Council. Is that not right?
Yes, the request is from Kuntaur Area Council as part of the requirements for the bidding process, but normally we don't even expect the bid security to be part of this file.
You have several files with bid securities attached.
Yes, I understand.
But have you ever told them not to send you bid securities?
No, what I mean, the bid security should be part of their bids, part of their submission.
So, wait, Mr. Sanyang had said previously that when you're deciding to give approval, you look at all the documents, the bid documents that have been sent by the contractors or suppliers, and it would include everything that they sent
Yes,
to the procuring organization, which would include the bid security.
That's what I said, yeah.
Right. So, I'm trying to reconcile that with what you're saying now.
Yeah, what I'm saying, this bid security, the expectation is it should have been part of the bid from this particular bidder. It should be part of his submission.
Yes, so what's your point?
No, because your question was, you only saw only one bid security and you don't see the others.
Okay, so you're saying that you would have returned it?
Most likely it must have been returned or within our office.
Okay, so now this one that you have in the file, it is saying that Sunshine Insurance Company will be bound to the managing director of Gamtel. So is it supposed to be the managing director of Gamtel, or is it supposed to be Kuntaur Area Council?
The managing director of Gamtel has no input here, has no issue here.
Yes, but so my question is a bit specific.
Yes.
I'd appreciate a specific answer.
Because here, it should be the employer. And as far as we are concerned, the Kuntaur Area Council is the employer here, is the contracting authority. So I don't know how comes we have the MD for Gamtel here.
Yes, none of us know how come. But would I be right in saying that the security is defective?
Mr. Tambura, can we have answer to that question?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I was just trying to cross-check to see whether Gamtel has any hands in this procurement. But
is the bid security supposed to be for anybody other than Kuntaur Area Council?
Yes, it should be for Kuntaur Area Council as the contracting authority.
Okay. So is it for Kuntawur Area Council?
Here it is addressed to Kuntawur Area Council, but in the write-up we have seen MD for Gamten.
Now, if Kuntawur Area Council needed to make good on that bid security,
No, this is defective.
that's what I was asking. Now, you gave them approval to carry on with the procurement, even though the bid security for Bulmano is defective. I don't know about the other bid securities because we have not seen those. And even though they only invited 4 bidders in violation of the Act, did you ever get a contract from them to show that they actually entered into a contract with these 2 bidders, Baisa Lateral Drilling and Bulmano Construction Company?
No council.
Did you ever follow up?
No council.
So they wrote to you again on the 2nd April 2022. And they said that it is with great honor we write to seek your approval to pay 50% as initial payment to 2 contractors each. 1, Baisa Lateral Drilling Company, 2, Bulmano Drilling Company. They said that these drilling companies are awarded the contract by Kuntawur Area Council to drill boreholes within our jurisdiction. And as a result of effective material mobilization, distance, and Ramadan period, we sought to pay them that percentage. In view of this, we request for approval to pay them 50% to facilitate smooth material mobilization and project implementation. So you said they never sent you the contracts.
The contract document, no council.
Are you aware if they ever published the awards?
No, we are not aware.
Now they're asking for approval to make a 50% payment, advance payment to the 2 companies.
Yes, council.
How much is, what does the Act say about advance payment?
Yeah, it is the regulation that make provisions for advance payment within the ranges of 20 to 50.
So did you ever respond to this letter?
From our records here, from the minute seat, there is no response.
Do you know what happened to the contracts or whether they made the 50% advance payment?
No communication from the council.
Chairperson, I don't know whether the commissioners have any questions on this file.
Yes. Mr. Tamura, if you take a look at the letter dated the 21st of March 2022, the said letter is addressed to the Director General requesting for approval for the evaluation report and recommendation of award for the construction of the 3 boreholes. Then on the same 21st of March 2022, the Director General was written to requesting from the Director General for the award of the contract to the 3 for the construction of the 3 boreholes, which means they had already identified the 3 successful bidders. But what could be noted here is that the letter dated the 21st March, which is captioned request for approval to award contract for the construction of 3 boreholes, was not signed by the chairperson of the contracts committee. Then the one that is not signed have reference number as KTR AC/CC/001 in brackets 3. Then there is also a letter written to one of the winners, that is to one of the participants in the bid, Senkandi Enterprise, is dated on the 21st of March 2022, 2, which was signed by Mamadi Kamara, the procurement officer, conveying the fact that Sin Kandi Enterprise was not successful in the bid. So I have a challenge in understanding that all of these transactions were done on the same 21st of March, 2022. Did you realize this?
Yes, Chair. If you look at the first letter, you have just reference to 21st March 2022. That is a cover letter to the evaluation report. That's why, in fact, the captions are different. This was a cover letter, and the one below it is the evaluation report. So that's why, I'm sure that's why they have the same date, because they all came the same date. This one is the cover letter.
Okay.
Just like you have a cover letter and you attach the evaluation report to the cover letter. So the one addressed to the supplier, notifying him of his unsuccessful bid. If you look at our letter of approval, in fact, that is queried, because he is notifying the unsuccessful bidder when we have not even granted consideration.
Yes.
Yes, so that was the query. That's why it was captured in our letter of approval.
But if you look at the references, you will realize that the reference is the same, except for the fact that the first one, which is signed by the chairperson, has 3, and the other one, but everything else remains the same, I think. Yes?
The references?
The references are the same.
We have 3 here, and the other one we have 4.
No, the one that is not signed by the chairperson is having the same reference. Did you see it?
Yes, yes, Chair. Okay, that's not signed. Because approval for the level of contract.
The reference for the first one is KTR AC/CC/001 in brackets 3.
Yes.
And the one I am referring to again is KTR AC/CC/001 in brackets 3.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Dated 21st March.
Yes, both.
Yes, it's the same reference, but not signed by the CEO.
Yes. Do you know why this one was not signed? You know, you have told us that there are different captions, and that is why they have the same date. But for this one,
yeah, obviously for this
yes,
one.
This one is particularly for the award of the contract.
Contract, yes.
Yes. And they both have the same reference number, but one with different captions, but one is not signed.
Yes, it's true, it's not signed. What I have just realized here is the 2 letters have almost the same caption and purpose, but I don't know why it is not signed.
Mr. Tamura, don't make interpretation for this PO. What? Yeah?
Chair, it's an anomaly.
Yes.
It's wrong.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Because this one is seeking for approval to award the contract.
Yes.
Which is different from a request for approval. That one is
yes.
asking you that,
yes,
you know, they are awarding, and this one is asking you
approving of the evaluation report.
Yes.
Yes, it's different.
Because it is as a result of you evaluating the report that they have sent. Your approval is based on your evaluation of their evaluation report.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Chair.
And then that is what will give you the basis of approving, because the evaluation report would show the entire process.
Exactly.
And whether they have complied or not.
Exactly, Chair.
Thank you. Council, is this the end for this?
Yes.
Yes, what I also want to find out is that the set criteria, the evaluation criteria that we have seen in the file,
Yes.
The systems are different. You could see what is contained in this file. There is no indication of which of the companies they are evaluating. We just have numbers, and there is no reference as to which of the companies they are scoring as per. For example, take a look at the bilateral drilling Mbayen, name of the contractor.
Letter from Kuntawur Area Council.
No, the evaluation criteria.
Criteria, okay.
The one which has the name of the contractor as Baisa. Did you see that one?
Yes, the Baisa Lateral Drilling Company.
Yes, drilling. There is no company. It says Baisa Lateral Drilling Bayen, which is handwritten, right? And it's not dated. It has a table that has on the top column, it has number, evaluation criteria, requirement, percentage score, and final score. Did you see that?
Mbayan, yes, I've seen that, Chair.
So, looking at this document, would you tell was this just for this company, or they had different evaluation sheets for the different companies that they have selected?
Yeah. If you go by the evaluation report, you will realize that this was subjected to all the bidders. The same procedure was subjected to all, yes, to all the bidders.
So going by this, do you think this is sufficient, or is in actual compliance with what you provide for in the forms?
Because these were the evaluation criteria proposed by the Kuntawur Area Council.
Is this contained in the bidding document?
Yes, it should be in the bidding document. That's where evaluation criteria are captured in the bid data sheet. But I can confirm that.
Yes, please confirm whether what they have provided for us here is contained in the bidding document. Who normally sets the criteria? Do you have any input when these criteria are set out?
No, at all. It is the prerogative of the contracts committee.
Yes, I know that.
Yes.
Mr. Sanyang has told us that.
Yes.
But where the issues are of technical nature, you know, do you still leave it with the PO, knowing perhaps they may not have the capacity?
Yes, that's why there's a provision for the PO to co-opt specialists and experts to help them in technical matters.
Yes, that is, it takes me to the next question. So when they set up this, do you have any way of verifying that the set criteria they have put in place in their bidding documents in terms of evaluation, whether they are standard and acceptable?
Yes, during our review of their evaluation reports, we always pay concentration to the evaluation criteria.
And so where you are of the opinion that the criteria doesn't fit, you understand, the specification or otherwise, do you make any comments or do you ask them to look at it again?
Yes, we normally make comments, especially if the criteria may be biased, may not bring about a level playing field. So we normally make our observation.
Commissioners, do you have questions? The other issue is that they have said they wrote somewhere that the the bid security is 1,252,820.
The bid security?
Yes, in the evaluation report,
Yes.
they have indicated that you could see the first one. The one dated the 21st of March 2022.
21st March, yes. The first page?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The bilateral drilling company
Yes.
made the following submissions. They
Yes.
said the bid security of 1,252,820.
Yes.
Was this bid security found in the bidding documents, attached to the bidding documents, or the submissions made to your office?
Yes, this bid security should be part of the submission from the bidder, made by
Yes,
the
so
bidder.
what is this part of it?
Yes, we
Because
can.
I have issue with this bid security, considering the amount of the project cost.
Yes, because the bid security should be only 2 or 3% of the bidder's bid amount.
That is why I'm asking you, because if the bid security is way beyond the contract sum,
Yes.
how can you explain that? Does this indicate that they do not understand? Or what does it explain?
The bid security is just a percentage. It should be just 2 or 3%, and this is an indication that they do not understand. And I don't want to really speak for them, but I just wanted to confirm whether, in fact, was their bid price or not, or the bid price. That's what I wanted to even confirm.
But it's very explicit in paragraph C. It
Yes.
says bid security of 1,252,820.
Yeah.
252,820.
It's overstated, Chair.
Yes. Because their quoted sum is 627,160. And the for the Mbayan, and the jam again is 624,660.
Exactly. So here the bid security is almost double the bid amount.
So should you have given approval in this instance? Because this is completely wrong.
On the face value here, Madam Chair, no.
Thank you. Yes. I think, do you have any questions? All right.
Thank you. I have had the file Care 1, Area Council 1 of 2020 handed over to the witness. Mr. Sanyang, I take it that you'll be dealing with that file?
Yes.
All right. So this is for the construction of a residential quarters. So I'll just refer you to the Kerewan Area Council Finance and Contracts Subcommittee meeting dated 20th November 2020.
Yes, Council.
Yeah. At the second page, the first paragraph seems to be where they've dealt with the residential quarters. So it says, on the other hand, the Chief Executive Officer told the two subcommittees that there are plans to build a staff quarter for the CEO inside the chairman's main residence land, which is a vast land that will be divided with a fence. Supporting his statement, the Director of Planning, Alassane Keita, buttressed that the reason of moving the CEO's quarter is for the chairman to be able to have enough office space, fully furnished, under the chairman's purview. He added that the CEO will be relocated to the new quarters to avail a space for an office complex for the staff who are the users of the IFMIS system, where we should also create an office space for the budget officer. In his concluding remarks, he also added the sub-treasury space was identified by the councillor of the Njabakunda ward, and council have pledged to fence it before the end of the year. Now, I'm not sure if they have, maybe I'm not sure. I haven't seen where in this contracts committee meeting they have said the mode of procurement for this particular one. Can you confirm whether there's anything?
It's not, Council, is not indicated. The mode of the procurement method is not indicated in these discussions.
And did they write to you to seek approval for the procurement method that they wish to use? I don't recall seeing any in the file.
No.
But they use the request for quotation, is that
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Now, all the Form 101s that they attached in the file were not completed by the contractors. Is that right?
Yes.
They were only signed with no information provided.
Yes, they are not. But what obtains on the ground is like you can use Form 101, and in their response they can use a quotation or fill the other part of the Form 101. And in this case, this other part of the Form 101 is not completed, and I want to confirm whether instead of indicating their requirements on the Form 101, they provided separate quotations, but I have to confirm that in the submission.
Can you please note that down to confirm? Now, I refer you to your letter dated 8th December 2020.
Okay.
It's the first document in the file.
Is the first yes.
Yeah. So you have said, having reviewed your request for approval of evaluation report regarding the procurement of construction of residential quarter, we made the following observations. 1, your GPPA Form 100 in the submission was not signed by the Finance Director. 2, the GPPA Form 101 was not filled completely. That is, names of officials that opened the bids was not stated on the form. 3, all 3 bidders did not sign their bills of quantities. 4, minutes of the contracts committee was signed by only 2 members, that is the CEO and the procurement officer. And 5, there is no evidence from all 3 bidders of conducting a similar contract. Now, aren't most of these fundamental issues that GPPA has refused approval in other procurements?
Yes.
Now, would you approve a procurement that doesn't have a signed Form 100, the Form 101, which is a request for quotation, was not completed? So that's for you. Would you approve a procurement for those 2 issues?
Actually, the missing items are a very important part of the procurement process, and approvals should not have been given.
Okay, so then the bit about the bidders who did not sign the bill of quantities, that would have been one of the requirements to be awarded a contract. Is that all right?
Correct. But again, let me also indicate that the Form 101 was not completed. That was the previous question.
Yes.
Now, the requirements here are indicated on the BOQ.
Yes.
I think that is why the other part of the Form 101 was not completed.
So in the file you have one BOQ, is that not right? We can check, 1 or 2, I believe. There's a bid form 002, although it doesn't say whose it is. There's a bid form 003. And a bid form 001. So the bid form 001 has Ibrahim Abajo's stamp on it, even though there's no signature.
Yes.
So is what you're saying that the BOQ is sufficient?
Yes.
Even though they don't complete the RFQ forms?
No, the RFQ forms should be completed.
Okay.
The RFQ Q form is a different issue. Now, the BOQ will show those requirements that are requested on Form 101, which should have been a costing and a response to some of the issues that they needed to be responded to on Form 101. So instead of indicating on the Form 101, they responded on the BOQ.
So the BOQ would have the cost?
Yes, the cost.
But then the other requirements, which would be the registration with GPPA and Attorney General, it wouldn't be in the BOQ?
No, that one cannot
The
be
work
on the
experience
BOQ.
wouldn't be in the BOQ?
No, that one cannot.
Similar work. So it's only the price that would be on the BOQ, because there's also payment term and stamp. Those would not be on the BOQ.
Correct.
And those have not been provided.
Correct.
Now, considering that all of those details have not been provided, I mean, there are 3 GPPA certificates attached. 2 of them have registrations for 2020, for the year 2020. Ibrahim Ajabo's registration was 2018. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, considering that all those requirements, which are requirements for the PO, have not been provided, do you see how do you see that their evaluation of the bids would have been complete without those information?
Actually, like I said earlier, these are major, and they should have been provided to make an informed decision.
Now, let me just continue with your letter. Your letter says, notwithstanding the above, which is all the issues that you have highlighted, and considering that all participating bidders did not submit evidence of a similar contract and the recommended bidder quoted the lowest price, the authority hereby gives you approval to proceed with your award recommendation for the construction of residential quarters to Ibrahim Abajo at bid price $966,945. However, this approval is subject to submission of a signed GPPA Form 100 by the budget officer, submission of signed minutes of your contracts committee on the said procurement by all members or a quorum of the members who attended the meeting. Furthermore, please be reminded that you are obliged to inform the unsuccessful bidders about the outcome of the bid and provide the authority with copy of notification of award to the winning bidder and signed contract documents for our records. Now, you've already said that approval should not have been granted for this procurement, or rather for this award, but it was granted. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, do you know whether they subsequently complied with your requirements in your approval letter?
However, I checked and I have seen the Form 100, which is
Okay.
one of what was requested. And then I think I also saw something like minutes.
So the Form 100 that you saw, was it signed by the budget officer?
No, the budget officer didn't sign.
So that's what your letter is.
Okay, yeah.
And then the minutes were signed by the chairperson and the secretary. I believe you were the one who told the commission that you need at least 3 members of the contracts committee to sign.
Yes, at least 3.
So your letter is saying that 3 of them should have signed. Now I'm asking you, these 2 requirements that you have asked, submission of a signed GPPA form 100 by the budget officer, which is the director of finance in bracket, submission of signed minutes of your contracts committee on the said procurement by all members or a quorum of the members who attended the meeting. Did they ever provide you with these 2?
By these records, no. I have not seen those requests being provided.
And did they send you notice that they had informed the unsuccessful bidders of their...
No,
Did they send you a signed contract?
no.
Do you know what happened to this procurement? Do you know whether they went ahead with it?
No, maybe we try to find out.
Chairperson, if you have questions.
Mr. Sanya,
Yes.
what is the effect of the failure to sign bills of quantity? What is the effect?
Now, the implications may imply that the offers are not authentic. The supplier or contractor is not committed to his offer, which may have some implications
Yeah, because
when
he
it comes to the project implementation.
Yes, because he is conveying, he is not binding himself
Exactly, yes.
on anything.
Correct, yeah.
And in this letter, it was noted that all the 3 bidders that were selected did not sign their bills of quantity.
Yes, it's not indicated.
And yet still you went ahead and approved this contract.
Yes.
All right.
So you are sharing it. You know how to distribute them.
And in the evaluation, in the docket that you have, before we leave this file, was there any declaration made by the contract committee members? Was that form filled and signed?
The file is just taken away, but I think I saw a file with a list of names, although it should have been different individuals, a form for each member, but in this case, I think...
Was it the declaration, the form you saw?
Maybe if I can verify again.
Yes, can you verify? Because I saw a different... I think what you saw is the signatures on the evaluation report. But you may cross-check.
Honorable, you are right. I think that's a list of those who attended the evaluation and not the declaration form.
Thank you. Council, we may proceed.
I have handed to the witnesses Mansakonko Area Council, File 1 of 2022. I don't know who's dealing with that one.
Yes, 1/2022.
All right. Now I refer you to the Contracts Committee meeting held on Tuesday, 4th March 2022.
Yes, Council.
Now, they're seeking to carry out a community water project, and that's agenda item 2 in the minutes, contained on page 3. They have said that the CEO of the council informed contracts committee members that with their approval, council can go ahead to drill 2 boreholes for now to the 2 most vulnerable communities and can do the next 2 in the near future. The committee blessed the motion that council go ahead to drill 2 boreholes in 2 different communities for now. The CEO then asked the procurement function to go ahead in soliciting quotes for drilling a standard borehole for potential supplies. Now, this is based on agenda item 1, which was their financial situation. And they were saying that the chief executive of the council informed the contracts committee members that 2021 has come to an end in December. Successes and challenges were evident. CEO Ture disclosed that $2 million has been recently disbursed to the council by the Ministry of Finance to implement projects on conditional basis. He further indicated that when he was informed about the disbursement, he went to Trust Bank where the amount was transferred and had discovered that there was a credited amount of $264,984 from each of the council's account at Trust Bank. He said when he asked the bank why such a transaction, he was informed that the amount was paid to the council GT Bank account to pay for staff salaries there. They went on to say that the CEO indicated that so there was a balance of $710,431 at Trust Bank out of the disbursed amount. The CEO indicated that he was informed that councillors approved 4 water projects, but the correspondence sent by the council to the ministry recommended for 3 boreholes to be drilled out of the $2 million. He then suggested for council to drill 2 boreholes for now and can do the other 2 in the near future. He said, being a person of financial background, it is not wise to exhaust all the available financial resources you have on a specific activity without factoring unforeseen circumstances. He suggested for the council to implement 2 water projects without compromising quality instead of 4 boreholes. He said after the debited amount, council has $1.710431 to implement the water projects. Now, under their comments, it says Mr. Nfamara said he can't recollected that before the current $2 million disbursement, there was $2 million disbursement to council accounts sometime in March, and the 4 borehole projects were identified in respect of that transfer and has seen no reason to change the 4 proposed water projects to 3. The council responded that the current $2 million from the central government is a conditional grant and is subject to monitoring and evaluation, and as such, quality projects should be implemented, not quantity. The Director of Planning and Development, Mr. Lamin L.M. Mari, indicated that the past contracts were awarded with a degree of negotiation as the budget allocated to implement those water projects was not adequate. He said that that's why council did not apply retention fee method on them. Now, here from the contracts committee meetings, you can see that they were given a conditional grant of $2 million from central government to carry out 4 borehole projects. They decided to carry out 2 instead. Now, as much as this is the committee's prerogative, because you would act on the minutes that they sent to you, is this something that your authority has any say in?
No, we wouldn't go that far
Okay.
because contracts committees are solely and wholly responsible for their own procurements.
I thought so, but I was just checking. Now, under the comments for agenda item 2, it says that the procurement assistant, Mr. Ibrahim Sedili, informed colleagues that the council had signed contract agreements with contractors in the past. Projects have been implemented and the warranty periods were indicated in the said documents, and those documents are under the purview of the technicians. Mr. Sedili further asserted that if the council needs quality boreholes, let them always invite bidders who will submit invoices indicating the materials they will use during the implementation process. He further asked the committee to seek prior approval from Gambia Public Procurement Authority because the amount they have from their own market research now, the amount involved is more than 500,000, which is the threshold for request for quotation. This will increase our compliance status. After a constructive argument, the contract committee endorsed the council to go in for 2 boreholes to the community of Jabisa in Jaduma Ward and Jatakunda in Giraffe Ward, respectively. Mr. Ibrahim Sedili of the procurement unit of the council responded that in the past projects, 4 contractors submitted quotations and each was awarded 1 borehole, but after the completion of their projects, the council saw deficiencies in the performance and quality of work of the other 2, and in that regard, they are not encouraged to submit their bidding documents to implement the current projects due to the bad experience of their previous projects. So I'm not entirely clear, but it seems that from the minutes they wanted to get quotations from different bidders.
Yes.
Now, did they complete? There's no, let me not say that, let me check. Okay, so they sent the Form 100 to your office. And the Form 100 has a detailed breakdown of the costs for 1 borehole. Is that all right? So they have the item description, and it has 1 borehole, 190,000, solar water pump, 96,000, solar pump controller, 40,000. Have you seen this?
Yes, it's the long list of, yes.
Yes.
I've seen it.
And on the funds availability confirmed, they've said yes. And the amount, the grand total cost is $664,075. And they said that this procurement is part of their annual procurement plan. This is something that you can't confirm right now, right? Now, this is the price of 1 borehole. Is that all right?
Correct.
So 2 boreholes would be about 1,200,000 odd,
Yes.
at least. Now, for request for quotations, the maximum amount is $1 million. Is that all right?
Correct.
But they have sent you a form and only put the amount for 1 borehole. Do you think that that was in a bid to avoid stating the full amount?
I think so, because it seems as if there is splitting, which is not allowed by procurement.
Now, your letter to them dated 7th April 2022. Sorry, before that, they've sent you a letter 29th March 2022, and they have said that the aforementioned institution is hereby requesting for the approval of the use of request for quotation method for drilling of 2 community boreholes. This procurement is part of the Council's approved budget 2022, as well as the procurement plan of the Council. Then your response to them is dated 7th April 2022, and you have said, following a review of your submission, please be informed that the authority has granted approval to your request to use RFQ method for drilling of 2 community boreholes. Please submit your evaluation report to the authority with recommendation for award before contract signing. Now, it does not appear that your action officer noted that the price that they sent you is for one borehole and not two? Because if it was for two, he should have noted that this is not the proper method for this procurement. Is that not right?
You are right.
So is this a procurement that approval should have been granted for the method?
Well, for the procurement method, no.
Yes, for the
Because
procurement method.
that is what I'm saying. That
So I didn't hear you there.
Yeah.
What did you say?
for the procurement method, no.
No. And do you know whether they went further with this procurement?
Maybe we will confirm.
Okay. But there's nothing else in the file
Because
from
apart
your
from
letter?
this letter, we have not received anything from them.
Okay. Chairperson?
Yes. Mr. Sanyang, if you look at the Form 100, they just listed the particulars of the items for the construction of the borehole. And do you think that the reason why they did not even indicate on this Form 100 the total cost here, is it not indicative of avoidance of disclosing correct facts to you?
Is a possibility, but if you look at even the way the Form 100 is completed, may even suggest that the procurement officer is not very au fait with probably the procurement procedures, because these long lists should not have been on Form 100, should either be on the Form 101 or a BOQ for these things to be provided, not on Form 100. So having it on Form 100 may even suggest that the procurement officer is not that au fait or doesn't have that probably knowledge or skill in public procurement.
So by looking at the form, which was signed by Baba Tarawale, I think, right? That's the procurement officer, and was also signed by the CEO
Yes.
on the 28th of December 2021.
Correct.
You could realize that no contract sum was provided.
No contract?
Contract sum was provided. What I mean to say is that by looking at this Form 100 that was filled, you cannot readily assume what is going to be the cost.
Apart from this, the splitting that we have just discovered, there is an estimate amount,
Where is
which
the
is 664,075. But if you look at the form, that indicates
But-
only one borehole.
Yes, but if you tabulate what they have put in on the Form 100, is it not more than the amount you are stating, or is it the same? The amounts that they have quoted here.
Maybe if I use a calculator to
So
verify
which means
that.
you cannot
But
readily
I assume
correlate what is here and the amount they have quoted.
I cannot, because
You
going by what they have submitted, these figures that they have indicated should sum up to the total amount, estimated amount indicated on Form 101.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure whether the calculation there is accurate or not.
Okay. The commissioners, do you have any questions? And in their evaluation report, they have indicated that they had bad experience in their previous projects. Was this captured in your post-review? Because this clearly indicates to you that projects were implemented and they had some challenges, or they had bad experience, as they clearly stated in their reports or the minutes of their minutes.
I cannot remember.
Particularly for this.
I cannot remember.
Is it, what is this one? Mansakonko Area Council.
I cannot remember unless I verify.
Whether it was captured in your
in the-
post-compliance review.
I cannot remember.
So in effect, we would say that they did not comply with your regulations in awarding this contract if it was awarded.
Correct.
Thank you. Council?
Thank you. I sent to the witnesses the Janjambure Area Council procurement files, one of 2018 and one of 2022. Okay, they're both really the same, well, similar items, that's why.
Okay, Council.
Okay, so let me take 2018 first. The council wrote to your office on 29th October 2018 because they wanted to purchase 2 vehicles for the council.
Yes, Council.
And they have said that it is agreed that the purchase of the 2 vehicles must not be more than $550,000, as the council cannot at this point in time afford to pay more because of lack of funds. The committee has also put into consideration the problem of second-hand vehicles, but it has also perceived that the amount involved may be able to purchase vehicles with that price for only a limited period. And they've gone on to say that they could not establish the models of the vehicles to be purchased, but a strong advice had been put forward over the issue and other issues too over the affairs of the vehicles. It is also agreed that the Director General of GPPA needs to be apologized for the nature of protocol which is due because of the circumstances involved, as this meeting was hurriedly done to address the problem of the purchase of transport. Note, the vehicles are for the chairman and the CEO respectively. Now, they only sent you a letter.
Yes,
There
that's
was
the
no
letter.
requisition form, there was no contracts committee meetings, minutes, nothing.
Yes, lead Council.
And your office wrote back on the 5th of November 2018
Yes,
to
Council.
inform them that you acknowledge receipt of their submission, but you cannot make any decisions at that stage because the submission is incomplete.
Yes, Council.
You said that there was a meeting between their management and your authority, and that they are required to attach minutes of the contracts committee relative to the said procurement and relevant GPPA forms such as 100, national requisition, indicating the estimates and a report by a vehicle technician on the 2 vehicles. Now, did you ever get any response to your letter?
No response from the Council since then.
Okay. And then the number 1 of 2022, it's again applying for permission to purchase used cars from an auction.
Yes, Council.
They have said that, as we all know, the Janjambure Area Council is a rural council and has a very limited financial mobilization avenue for us to buy new vehicles. We have a contract with Reliance Financial Services for a car loan, which we don't get the approvals from the ministry for that facility. As we all know, it is against the laws of procurement, but with respect to the above conditions, we are kindly appealing to your office to grant us permission to purchase at least 1 vehicle from the upcoming car auction.
Yes, Council.
Now, again, there's no Form 100, there's no contract committee meeting minutes, there's no other supporting documents, just that letter.
Exactly, Council.
So your office wrote back on the 4th of September 2022, and you have said that the authority could not make an informed decision on your procurement request, even though there is no statutory provision to do so. Subsequently, and to enable the authority to make an informed decision on your request, you are requested to provide the following: an independent mechanical assessment report of the vehicle you intend to buy, GPPA requisite forms 100-003-012, signed minutes of your contracts committee on the agreed course of action. Which one is Form 003?
That's the record of single source procurement.
So why would you suggest single sourcing? for used vehicles?
Yes, from experience, most of the time they identify, even during auction, because people are given the opportunity to view the vehicle in advance. So most of the time they have a targeted vehicle.
So in this particular case, they're asking for permission to purchase from auction. Let me
Yes.
see whether there's. In the other file, 2018, I do not think that it was option, but we had another file that we did with Mr. Sanya, I believe yesterday, and it was, or one of these days, they wanted to purchase, but it was single sourcing again for used vehicles. And we had a conversation about, it was the Toyota Hilux truck, I think for Basse Area Council. And I was asking why would you allow restricted tender, I think, or single sourcing when there are a lot of used vehicle dealers in the country? Would it not be more prudent to allow them to use open tender? Other than the auction one, which is, I mean, it happens a few times in the year, I think, as a general rule.
Yeah, for this one, Council, in fact, that's why a decision was not taken. All we told them was to submit additional information documents just to enable us to make an informed decision. The decision could have been anything.
So did they send any other documents? Did they respond to your letter?
Hereafter, no document.
Do you know whether they procured a vehicle subsequently?
No idea, Lead Counsel.
Chairperson. Now, Mr. Sanya, earlier during your testimony, we had a procurement that related to Canifing Municipal Council, and it had to do with the procurement of, I believe, office furniture, and I think Sonko Jileng had won the bid, and we had asked questions about whether it was right for the evaluation committee to go and visit the sites, and you had said that you did not think there was anything wrong with it. Am I right?
Site visits.
Site visits to go and inspect the goods. Because I had asked questions about whether you did not feel it would be sufficient if there were photographs, etc. Do you recall?
Yes, I think I said I don't think there is anything wrong with the.
Yeah, you said you didn't think there was
Yes.
anything wrong with it.
Correct. That is
Right.
what I said.
So I just want to refer you to Regulation 74(7). So this is something that I came across, so I just felt I needed to ask you again before we wrap up.
74.
I'll just read that for you. It says, under no circumstances may any member of an evaluation committee enter into direct communication with any of the bidders participating in a bid or proposal that such evaluation committee is considering.
You get that?
Yes, I have seen that.
Yes. So what is your reaction to that?
Unless I refer to the file again, I cannot, because when evaluation is completed and a supplier is identified.
So if you recall, there were no suppliers, there was not one supplier identified. They had, so the conversation was that it wasn't part of the criteria in the bidding documents that they would visit their showrooms, but after they had gotten the bids, they decided that they were going to visit the showrooms, and one of them sent them to another showroom, another business entity showroom. Sonko Jileng, they were able to see.
The one they sent them was at
1+1. Yes, and then there was a third that had their furniture in boxes, so they couldn't view, and they ended up giving it to Sonko Jileng. And I had asked whether it was not, it would not encourage corruption to have the committee meet the bidders individually, because they wouldn't be meeting all the bidders together, they were going to each bidder's establishment. And I was asking whether you did not think that it could encourage corruption. I believe you said that you thought it is a possibility, but you also said that you did not think there was anything wrong with them going to inspect the goods before they made a decision. Now, in light of this provision, my question is, do you have a different opinion? But if you need to see the file, after the break we can get the file and then revisit the issue.
Okay, maybe I can go over the file again and see exactly
Very
what
well, that's
it
fine.
is about.
We can do that.
So
after.
having looked at the provision, so we are all in the same line of understanding that the evaluation committee or the contracts committee, you understand, of a PO are not supposed to have direct communication with the bidders.
As per the provision of this act,
Yes,
yes.
the law, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
I'm going to send to the witnesses KMC file 8 of 2022. Yes.
Mr. Sanyang, we have seen that there is an interchange between the contracts committee and the because in the regulation, what we have found in subsection 9 of the section that was read to you is talking about the evaluation committee, right? So we have seen sometimes POs use the contract committee to do this evaluation. Most often.
Yes,
Right?
as per the provisions of the act,
Yes.
the contracts committee is responsible for everything. But then the law requires that the contracts committee can set a subcommittee.
Which is
Either-
the evaluation
exactly,
committee.
to
So
do
that
the
is-
evaluation.
Yes, that is why I'm saying most often when we read the evaluation reports of the POs, we see that it is the contract committee that is doing that job. So don't you think you should have at one point highlighted to them that this is what the regulations that govern your activity is saying, so that they make effort in making sure that they comply with the regulations?
Actually, I think so, because if you can remember when we were looking at the compliance review reports, it came several times that the CEO did not appoint, the contracts committee did not appoint an evaluation report and the like, to show that it is a requirement. So you are right, if it is not done, should have been our responsibility to draw their attention to that.
Yes?
Oh, thank you. Who's dealing with the file? Is 8 of 2022?
Yes.
Okay. This is single sourcing for, I believe, 65,000 seedlings. Now, let me refer you to your letter dated 7th July 2022.
Yes.
You reference the letter dated 4th July 2022 being a request for deviation for the purchase of seedlings for tree planting directly from producers under the KEPT project. And you said, please be informed that the authority could not approve your request for reasons of the following anomalies. 1, absence of requisite GPPA forms, including Form 100. 2, absence of signed minutes of the contracts committee agreeing on the course of action. Now, in comparison to this, you have the procurements that we just completed that you gave approval even though there was no Form 100 signed, there were no contracts committee meetings signed. Do you recall?
Yes.
And you note the inconsistencies in your approaches? This is signed by the Director of Compliance. Which one of you is that?
Aye.
So you didn't see the other one? Okay, so they have completed a Form 003, which is record of restricted tender. Sorry, single source. And the estimated value of the procurement is $1,950,000. And under the justification for use of single source, they have said there is serious delay in the implementation of the project activity, mainly because of budgetary constraints. The budget allocated for tree seedlings is far below the current market price, which requires budget amendment. This requires approval of the amendment of budget by the Project Steering Committee as well as the European Union. This has taken some while, causing delay. The plan is to plant the tree seedling in mid of rainy season. Now the date on that form is the 14th of July 2022. Is that right? The Form 003?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me just refer you to the 2014 Act, because this procurement is within that period. Section 44 deals with the conditions for use of single source procurement. And it says the single source procurement method may be used only in the following circumstances. A, where the estimated value of the procurement does not exceed the amount set in the regulations. B, where only one supplier has the technical capability or capacity to fulfill the procurement requirement, or the exclusive right to manufacture the goods, carry out the works, or perform the services to be procured, and no suitable alternative exists. C, where there is an emergency need for the goods, works, consultancy services or services involving an imminent threat to the physical safety of the population, of damage to property, or in the case of other unforeseeable urgent circumstances not due to the dilatory conduct of the procuring organization, and engaging in tendering proceedings or other procurement methods would therefore be impractical. And D, where the procuring organization, having procured goods, works, consultancy services, or services from a supplier, determines that additional goods, works, or services must be procured from the same source for reasons of standardization, or because of the need for compatibility with existing goods, equipment, technology, works, or services. And then it says what you should take into account. And E, it says for purchase of perishable commodities such as fresh fruits, vegetables, or other similar items which are purchased on competitive market terms. And the single source procurement on the grounds referred to in subsections 1, B, C, and D shall be subject to approval by the authority, which shall act on request for approval without delay. Now, looking at the reasons that they have put in their Form 003, do you think that any of those reasons fall under the provisions of Section 44?
No, I don't think so.
Now, okay.
Mr. Tamura, we noted that where it is convenient, particularly KMC, they will refer you to the law. And where it is not at their convenience, they will not refer you to the law that you are supposed to follow. And is it not your duty and your responsibility to look at the law when dealing with issues?
Yes, Chair, that's perfect.
So what has been the problem?
Sorry?
So why do you have to circumvent your own laws, or not to apply your own laws when granting or refusing to grant approval?
We shouldn't, so we shouldn't.
All right, thank you. Yes, Council, sorry for
Now,
interruption.
I refer to your letter dated 22nd July 2022 to the KATP, well, in respect of the KATP project. And this is signed by Director of Policy and Operations. Mr. Stanya, is that you?
Yes.
Okay, so you have said that having incorporated the request for information or document, please be informed that approval is herewith granted to purchase seedlings directly from producers as per your budget, $1,950,000. You are, however, required to submit to the authority Form 041 after implementation of the procurement in question. In conclusion, please ensure that all documentation regarding this procurement is appropriately kept with a view to facilitating future procurement/compliance audits. Now, you have said that the justifications they have given for single source procurement are not sufficient. Luckily, you're the one who gave them approval. So can you tell us what happened?
Actually, Council, I also want to share this regulation
This what, sorry?
12.2, regulation 12.2 with this commission.
Yes.
The authority may adjust or waive
Sorry, which?
Regulation 12.2.
regulation 12.2.
Yes.
The authority may adjust or waive the thresholds across the board or in respect of individual entities, taking into account increases in the capacity of ministries and other entities to absorb higher levels of procurement authority. So here, like the other provisions of the Act, our understanding as far as the authority level is like sometimes based on the circumstances that institutions may prefer, the authority may consider waiving a threshold in respect of a specific or a certain
before
program.
you go on, it's interesting how you conveniently skipped the beginning of that regulation. But then let's start with 1. It says a procuring organization shall undertake its procurement in accordance with the thresholds set out in the schedule to these regulations. You have your thresholds at the back.
Correct.
Now it says the thresholds referred to in subregulation 1 are subject to periodic review by the authority, which may, by notice, adjust or waive the thresholds across the board, as well as with respect to individual entities, taking into account increases in the capacity of ministries and other entities to absorb higher levels of procurement authority. So let me ask you 1. Have you reviewed the thresholds?
Periodically, yes. Because
And-
if you look at the thresholds in
No. So do you have a reviewed threshold that is not what's at the back of the regulation?
no, we have.
So
we
that's
have
the
not.
last threshold.
No, we have not. We have not.
So the one that's at the back of the regulation is the threshold.
Exactly.
And it says that you can do that by notice. So you didn't do it, so there's no notice issue arising. Therefore, this adjusting or waiving does not arise because you did not review it.
That is why I said, based on our understanding at our level, and when I started talking, I even cited our discussion, our previous discussions on the understanding of the authority of at
So that was a separate, entirely separate discussion on an entirely separate issue. So I asked you, I mean, this regulation that you have cited is based on the question that I asked you, which was that you had already said that the justification for that single sourcing was not sufficient. And I said, luckily, you're the one that signed the approval letter. So can you tell us what happened? Then you refer me to Regulation 12.2.
Yes.
And you ignore the portion that says that it is only when you have given notice and you've reviewed the regulation. Sorry,
can you explain to him, for him to understand what they said in the legislation when they say notice? What that means?
So let me ask him first. Do you understand what it means when it says that you give notice? Where it says, the thresholds referred to in sub-regulation 1 are subject to periodic review by the authority, which may, by notice, adjust or waive the thresholds across the board, etc. So do you understand what it means when it says that you can do it, you may do it by notice?
My understanding is like it must be publicized.
Okay. Now,
And the publication is by what means?
Maybe gazetted or...
Exactly. Thank you.
So you have agreed that no notice was given and no review of the thresholds arose. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Now, the justification in any event had nothing to do with the thresholds. Is that all right?
Well, our understanding is like when they try to justify, and at the authority level, we meet as a committee and...
No, Mr. Sanya,
The
answer the question first. What council is asking, so that we have an understanding and we can follow your evidence, please.
The question again, then?
So let me change the question. The thresholds that are contained in your regulations is what determines whether or not a particular method is applicable and whether or not your approval is required. Is that all right?
Correct.
So if, assuming that the threshold for seeking approval for single sourcing was $10,000 and their procurement is $1.9 million, they would need to seek your approval.
Correct.
Now, there's no issue about the threshold in respect of their application for approval for single sources. They have single sourcing. They have said that it is because there is serious delay in the implementation of their project activity, mainly because of budgetary constraints. The budget allocated for tree seedlings is far below the current market price, which requires budget amendment, thus requires approval of the amendment of budget by the project steering committee, as well as the European Union. This has taken some while, causing delay. The plan is to plant the tree seedlings in the mid of the rainy season. Now, that reason has nothing to do with the threshold, is that all right?
Correct.
And you had already said that it's not a justifiable reason for single sourcing.
Anyway, it's not in line with the conditions.
With section 44.
Yes, it's not in line.
So you gave approval anyway. Can you
However, maybe if you allow me to explain the reason.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, requests like this, the GPPA management will meet over them and then discuss based on their justifications. So here, according to them, and which, of course, based on previous submissions, the price per seedling at that time is far more than what is being offered by this particular supplier.
That's what they told you, but there's no quotation to back that. Is that all right?
No quotation to back it, but...
And do you have a market survey for that?
We've been given approvals for requests for seedlings for quite a while.
Really?
Years back.
So can you provide us with those approvals for the seedlings and the quotations, etc.?
Okay.
do you have any market survey for seedlings?
No, we don't.
Have you ever conducted one?
No.
So what is your basis for granting such approvals when you don't know what the cost is or have an idea of what the costs are?
Our base was on the requests, the current requests, compared to what is being requested for the past years. Because Banjul City Council does it, you have KMC and the like, their requests were sent to the authority for approval.
Okay. So considering that what they're saying is that they had initially budgeted for $10 per seedling, and this person or this supplier is going to sell them the seedling for $30 per seedling.
Was it
What is
$10?
your concern with their miscalculation? That, would you not agree that that is a situation of their doing if their budget does not meet what they actually want?
And you also said, let me just add that before you answer the question, you also said that it is not your business to meddle in their detailed activities, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
For me, my understanding is like,
Are you looking for something in particular
yes,
so I
I'm
can
trying
assist
to
you?
confirm the price that you indicated that they requested for.
Okay.
No, she was giving you
10.
a hypothesis. She's not quoting from the file.
No, it's all right. It's actually contained in the file, so I'm just going to look for it and
Okay.
assist
Sorry.
him. An emergency dilemma to plant tree seedlings in this rainy season within the Canifing municipality. Canifing Environmental Transformation Program is a flagship project for the Canifing Municipal Council in partnership with Peterborough City Council in the United Kingdom. The project is funded by the European Union through its local authorities, Partnerships for Sustainable Cities, and it aims to use a sustainable focus on new integrated waste management approaches to drive environmental, social, and economic transformation in Canifing Municipality in the Gambia. It also aims to strengthen urban governance, inclusive service delivery, and sustainable resource management. It is an urban project restricted with time, scope, and weather. As we all know, in urban settings, there is usually storm water, that is, rainwater that runs between dwellings, when there are heavy rains causing erosions and street gullies. Due to these restrictions, it is highly advisable to do our plantings at the onset of rain in June or July, Presently, we are in July and we are restricted with time and weather conditions. Therefore, we cannot use the normal procurement process to procure seedlings. The project have to procure a variety of seedlings which are classified as economical, medicinal, and indigenous, ornamental, and climate resistant. Made of varied species 0 to F, made of varied species of which no one supplier to supply immediately to the project. The project is also constrained budgetary, as our initial budget was $10 per seedling, of which it is far below the available market price. We solicit your approval to buy directly from local producers at a rate of $30 per seedling, which is available as producer rate. From our market investigation, most vendors' prices ranges from $100 to $150, which far exceeds our budget and distorted. We will document all purchase and submit documentation to your authority for your verification. We are pleading for your support to approve this request for deviation. Failure to approve the request would trigger loss of 50% of the project's outcome and render significant risk of failure to the project. The project contributes to our vision of creating a sustainable and green municipality. Furthermore, it contributes significantly to the country's national development plan outcomes and also its global climate change mitigation commitments. Now, it is when they sent you this letter that you sent them back a letter dated 7th July to tell them that they did not provide the Form 100 and the Contracts Committee decision. Now, we had already agreed that before they even start procurement, they need a procurement plan. Do they have a procurement plan?
Unless we confirm from.
All right, verify.
Yeah.
Now, if they had a procurement plan, it would have all the procurements that they intend to carry out within that budget year.
Correct.
That's between January and December.
Correct.
So we all know when rainy season is.
Correct.
One would assume that if you're going to plant trees or seedlings in the rainy season, you know to do it ahead. Now, they have said that they budgeted for $10 per seedling. You already said that before they budget, they need to do a market survey so that they know what they're budgeting for.
Correct.
Now, from this letter, do you think that they conducted a market survey before they made their budget?
That is what is indicated in their letter, but I totally disagree that a market survey was conducted, because in the Gambia here, like I said earlier, based on our previous approvals and the like, we've never approved for the procurement of seedlings for less than $100 per seedling. That is why when they indicated that they are going to buy directly from the producers at $30 per seedling. Now, anybody, of course, we are yet to confirm that. Of course, the authorities should also have conducted a market research, but based on our experience, $30 per seedling is very reasonable.
So you've just said that in your experience, you don't approve for less than $100.
No, what I said, we have never approved. I said we've been doing it for Banjul. We have been doing it for even KMC for the past years. And all along, which are yet to be confirmed, as you said, we can provide quotations and the like. I said I don't think we have ever approved a procurement for less than $100 per seedling. So that is why with $30 per seedling, we thought is very reasonable.
Is that a justification for single sourcing? As per Section 44 of the Act, which says single sourcing will only be used for the below situations. Is this a situation that falls within the provisions of Section 44?
Actually, no.
So, would your approval be right or wrong?
The approval may be wrong, but also looking at value for money.
That's not the condition for Section 44. Section 44 is very specific, which is why I asked you whether it falls under the category of Section 44. I'm sure you don't want to say that your approval is wrong, but that's up to you.
The approval definitely, I don't think is in line with any of the conditions provided
for
by
Section 44.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Chairperson.
Mr. Sanyang, if you look at the heading of the letter, they have quoted to you the relevant article, and they have said they want to deviate from what the law is providing. So, and you help them indulge in deviating from complying with the law. Is that not what has happened in this situation?
Yes.
They very well know what the law is, but they have asked you, they have made it very specific. They want to deviate from what the law is saying, and you help them do that. Is that
Correct.
not?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Counsel.
Registrar. I'm going to show the witness KMC file 14 of 2022.
Was this project implemented?
Again, we can verify.
Please do. Thank you.
There was a contract though,
There was a contract.
but I don't know if it was implemented.
Okay, let's see.
Is the contract in the file?
Yes.
Pre-plan.
Now, Mr. Sanyang, this is a procurement for single sourcing, and it's for a consultant. The council wrote to you on the 4th of July 2022, and they have said that as part of the implementation activities of the Canifing Environmental Transformation Program, etc., the project will build a municipal library with multi-purpose spaces that demonstrate circular economy principles, sustainable construction, and other environmentally friendly practices. The municipal library will enhance social inclusion, specifically for children, young people, women, and the disabled. It will be the center of our circular economy initiative, providing space for 200 youth entrepreneurs, access to design labs, and access to innovative technologies. The project is supposed to hire the services of a consultant to supervise the construction of municipal library, which is due to commence in 2 months. The committee has met and agreed to award the consultancy for the supervision of construction of municipal library to Master Plan, who has mutual understanding with the council to supervise civil construction projects of the council. The amount earmarked for the payment of the consultancy services is $1.6 million, which is equivalent to 5% of the contract sum, which is $32 million. Please find attached the invoice from the consultant and memorandum of understanding signed between the council and Master Plan. Also attached is the letter of approval for the award of contract. Now, I don't know whether we need to go through the conditions contained in section 44 again.
Yes, I think we can make reference to them.
We can go through it again?
Yes.
Okay, so it says single source procurement method may be used only in the following circumstances: where the estimated value of the procurement does not exceed the amount set in the regulations, where only one supplier has the technical capability or capacity to fulfill the procurement requirement or the exclusive rights to manufacture the goods, carry out the works, or perform the services to be procured, and no suitable alternative exists, where there is an emergency need for the goods, the works, or the consultancy services involving an imminent threat to physical safety of the population, of damage to property, or in the case of other unforeseeable urgent circumstances not due to the dilatory conduct of the procuring organization, etc. And it says where the procuring organization, having procured goods, works, consultancy services, or services from a supplier, determines that additional goods, works, or services must be procured from the same source for reasons of standardization or because of the need for compatibility with existing goods, etc. Now, it may be difficult to determine at this point whether they meet the criteria, so we can go through the documents. They have said that they decided to award the consultancy for the supervision of the construction of the municipal library to Master Plan, who has mutual understanding with the council to supervise construction projects, civil construction projects of council. Now, I refer you to the contracts committee meeting minutes dated 4th of July 2022. Just let me know if you found it.
Yes, 4th of July,
Okay.
2022.
Now, on the second page is where you have the procurement of service of consultant to supervise the construction of municipal library. And they said the Director of Planning and Development suggested the project to single source the consultancy services to Master Plan, who, according to her, already has a memorandum of understanding with the council. And more importantly, the company developed the bill of quantity and technical drawing of the municipal library. She advised the project to apply for approval of single source from the Gambia Public Procurement Authority. The project manager emphasized that hence Master Plan developed drawing and bill of quantities, they will be in better position to effectively supervise the contractor and provide contractor better explanation of the drawing. He also highlighted that Master Plan has more than 25 years of experience supervising the construction of infrastructural projects across the country. The meeting therefore unanimously agreed that the consultancy services should be awarded to Master Plan and apply for single source from GPPA. Now, they have attached what they have called the Memorandum of Understanding, which happens to be an agreement. I don't know if you've seen it. It's an agreement dated the 16th day of March 2020 between Kanifing Municipal Council of 57 Mamadi Manjang Highway in the Kanifing Municipality of the Gambia of the one part and Omar Kamara of, there's no address, hereinafter called the engineer of the other part. Have you seen the agreement?
Yes.
Now, there's no indication that Omar Kamara has anything to do with Master Plan from that agreement. Is that not right?
Okay.
Pardon?
I said, okay, yes.
Right. Now, it says that the KMC hereby engages the engineer and the engineer agrees to serve KMC as a consulting engineer of KMC with effect from the 16th day of March 2020. This agreement shall remain in effect until the 16th day of March 2020 or until terminated by either party, hereby upon not less than 30 calendar days prior written notice to the other party. Subject to the foregoing, the engineer agrees to A, prepare and review bidding documents, B, prepare and cost building designs, C, review and give technical advice on submitted designs or proposals prior to any infrastructure agreement that KMC may enter into, D, support in surveying services, E, render technical advice on roadworks, F, render consultancy services for KMC. So they're saying, okay, Kanifing Environmental, what's the T? Transformation Project are saying that Master Plan has an agreement or has an MOU with the council, and they've attached this agreement as the MOU. And they have also said that Master Plan was the one that did the bill of quantities and technical drawing for the municipal library, and so it makes sense to award them the contract for consultancy, single source, to carry out, to do the consultancy services for the project. Now, having looked at that, the reasons, which are the justification, and Section 44, what is your reaction to my earlier question about whether it's justified?
Actually, we are not sure how the agreement came about, because it's a project and we are to provide the project document. I have just sent somebody to collect it. Probably after break I will submit it. We are not sure how the arrangements came about, but then if you look at the provisions of Section 44, which provides for additional work and the like, this is a consultant who did the survey, he did all the drawings and so on and so forth. And what they are trying to justify is that since this is the guy who did all the drawings, he will be, or the firm will be in a better position to supervise, to ensure that whatever work is being implemented is in accordance with the plans and the drawings.
So this is assuming that Omar Kamara is actually the same as master plan, which there's no correlation evident from the file.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so now let me refer you to Regulation 97. Now this deals with avoidance of conflict of interest. So if you just find it, I'll read and you can follow. Now it says, consultants shall provide professional, objective, and impartial advice, and at all times hold the client's interest paramount without any consideration for future work. Consultants shall strictly avoid conflicts with other assignments or their own corporate interests. Consultants shall not be hired for any assignment that would, by its nature, be in conflict with their prior or current obligations to the government of the Gambia or other clients, or place them in a position of not being able to carry out the assignment in the best interest of a procuring organization. Without limitation on the generality of this rule, consultants shall not be hired under the circumstances set forth below. A firm hired to prepare engineering design for an infrastructure project shall not be engaged to prepare an independent environmental assessment for the same project ex post. B, a firm assisting a client in the privatization of public assets shall not purchase or advise purchasers of such assets. C, a firm which has been engaged by a procuring organization to provide goods or works for a project and any of its affiliates shall be disqualified from providing consulting services for the same project. And a firm hired to provide consulting services for the preparation or implementation of a project and any of its affiliates shall be disqualified from subsequently providing goods or works or services related to the initial assignment, other than in the case when, subject to satisfactory performance of the initial assignment, it is essential for continuity that there be a continuation of the firm's earlier consulting services for the same project. 5, this regulation does not apply to the various firms, consultants, contractors, or suppliers that together are performing the contractor's obligations under a turnkey or design and build contract. Now, the regulation seems to be very specific about avoiding conflicts, and it provides that consultants who have done work should ordinarily not be awarded the same contract, etc.
Yeah,
I mean, 4, is it 4? D
yes,
may
D,
be applicable,
D.
but that would only be assuming that master plan was the one that carried out, that has the agreement with KETP to provide the BOQ and what was the other word?
The designs.
The designs,
yeah.
which we have not established because we have not seen documentation to that effect.
Yeah,
All we have seen is a
think-
contract.
Yes, I think the MOU have some shortcomings.
That's not
But
an MOU, that's an
our
agreement.
assumption is
that
like
Mr.
our-
Sanya, just listen. That is not what Council is asking you, because the regulations are very explicit. And we have read from the MOU, and we have read from the letters that they have
Sorry.
sent to you.
Just to be clear, it's an agreement, it's not an MOU.
It's an agreement, sorry. We have listened to the agreement she has read to us, indicating their preference for master plan because of previous works done. So she is trying to draw your attention to what the provision of the law is saying, vis-a-vis with what they have written to you, you understand, and to correlate that with the approvals you have given. It's not about the project document we are referring to, and also it's not about what you are about to say, because they have no connection, right? So please, can you repeat the question so that he can answer?
So I was saying that assuming that D would apply, it would apply if the person who carried out the BOQ, etc. In this case, they're saying that it's master plan, and they've attached an agreement to prove that issue, and they're saying that master plan carried that out, and so they want master plan to be the consultant. Now, I'm saying that the agreement that they provided has Omar Kamara on it. There's no indication that there's any correlation between Omar Kamara and master plan, unless there's something that you know that is not apparent from the file. But looking at those documents, do you see any correlation between master plan and Omar Kamara?
No.
So them having put that as proof of their, how do you call it? Proof of their relationship with master plan. Do you think that that is sufficient?
Come again, sorry.
They have attached the agreement as proof that they have a prior engagement with master plan. That agreement does not have master plan named on it at all. The agreement has Omar Kamara and Kanifing Municipal Council. Now,
And that is exactly where I was coming from.
Okay,
and
so
then
let me allow
intercepted
you
by
to land.
Commission, that the agreements and so on have some deficiencies. But our understanding is like Omar Kamara here is representing master plan. And if that is the case, Section 44D is what we embark on or bank on to take a decision.
So just to be clear, do you know the difference between a natural person and a juristic person?
Between?
Do you know the difference between a natural person and a juristic person?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so a natural person is us. We're born, right? A juristic person is created. So you're either an association, a company, whatever form of association you have. So master plan can only be a juristic person. It wasn't born. Am I right?
Let me make this clarification. What about if Omar Kamara is the proprietor of master plan?
Let's just look at the documents that they have attached and we start from there. Now, your GPPA registration has Master Plan Company Limited. Now, do you understand the distinction between a company and its shareholders?
Yes.
Okay, so the company and its shareholders are two completely different entities.
Correct.
One cannot stand for the other for anything, right? Now, if Omar Kamara is representing Master Plan Company Limited, it would either be that he's the managing director or something like that, and it would indicate that he's signing on behalf of Master Plan Company Limited. Now, the contract that you have is Omar Kamara, simpliciter. No address, nothing. But the body that they want to give the contract to is Master Plan Company Limited. Now, can you tell me whether you think there's a correlation?
Yes, we think Omar.
And what is the basis of that thought?
The business of?
What is the basis for that thought?
We, at our level, we think that he is the proprietor.
So why would you think that at your level?
Because he's the one who signed the contract.
He signed a contract as what?
The proprietor of the master plan.
Can you please tell me where in the contract he says he signed as the proprietor of master plan?
At the bottom of the agreement,
Yes.
You have signed, sealed, and delivered by the within name Omar Kamara in the presence of. So for us, our understanding is Omar Kamara is signing as the proprietor of master plan.
When you sign your letters, how do you sign them for GPPA?
We sign and then we indicate that we are signing for the Director General.
And it is signed on your letterhead.
Yes,
So anyone who reads that knows that you're signing on behalf of GPPA. Is that not right?
correct.
If you were going to sign a letter in your individual capacity, there would be no mention of GPPA. Is that not? If you wanted to send a letter for yourself to the bank, to an institution, and it's about your personal business, would you indicate GPPA on it?
Correct, Council. That is why I said initially that this agreement may have some deficiencies, but
Sir.
that is what our understanding is.
So my question is there anything, we can't tell if the agreement has deficiencies. All we know is that there's an agreement between Kanifing Municipal Council and Omar Kamara. There's nothing indicating that there's deficiencies unless you can point those out to me. There's nothing indicating that Omar Kamara and Master Plan are related. That's why I said, unless you know something that is not apparent on the file, in which case you can enlighten us. But for anybody reading the file, Omar Kamara is one person, and he has a contract with Kanifing Municipal Council for engineering services. And there's no relation to Master Plan, unless I'm wrong.
Yes, as per the submissions, there are deficiencies, if that is what the case.
Okay. And it is only the submissions that you can rely on to make your decisions. Is that not right? Or you can rely on external factors?
Now, from time to time, we may call and make some verifications, but when the need arises. So in this case, maybe we can further make clarifications.
And did you make clarifications?
We never thought that an issue like this will arise, and that is why I'm saying that given these circumstances now, we can make verifications.
Given the circumstances now, you can what?
We can try to find out, like all other pending issues.
You can try to find out about this contract.
Yes, correct.
Okay, please do. Now, if you look at the meeting minutes dated 4th of July 2022, and you look at the bottom, under any, oh sorry, you're writing?
Yes.
Okay.
Master plan. Yes.
So if you look at the meeting minutes for 4th of July 2022,
What of July 2020?
under any other business, have you
Okay.
seen it? Okay.
Yes.
So it says, under AOB, the committee agreed to meet on the 23rd May 2020 to review the drawings and bill of quantity of the municipal library and advise the planning department to invite master plan to lead the discussion. Now, this is in respect of minutes dated the 4th of July 2022, and they're talking about agreeing to meet on the 23rd of March 2020 to review drawings and BOQs for the municipal library and advise the planning department to invite master plan to lead the discussion. Can you tell us whether this raises any flags for you?
Actually, I have not observed anything.
Okay, that's fine.
I have not observed any.
So look at Form 003.
Madam,
Sorry. Yes, sir.
let me just intervene here. Now, if master plan did the design and supposed to meet with the director of planning and development, and master plan leads the discussion, where are the checks and balances? That is one. The other point is, now, by best practices, these things are separated. I do the design, and then I step out and someone comes and does the supervision. Because if I do the design and supervision, I am at liberty to do it anyhow because there are no challenges. Because probably the KMC don't have the expertise to look at what is happening or to look at the defects at construction level. So it is always better for someone to do the design, step out, and someone does the supervision. It's just, that is how it's done now, just to inform you. And it's mostly done all the time. Yes, you could have what we call turnkey project, where you design and build, but mostly these projects are done by donor agencies where they will tell you that yes, we have money, and this is what we want to do. We will bring our French company to do the design, and they build it. Sorry, that is what they call turnkey. But in this case, it should have been separated. Thank you, madam. Continue.
So I was referring you to Form 003. Did you find it?
Yes.
Now, under the justification for using single source, they've said it's because of the urgency. But that is not what they said in their contracts committee meetings or their letter to you. Do these conflicts have any bearing to you?
Actually, it's a contradiction to what they said in their write-up. However, the authority relied on Section 44D to take a decision, and that is master plan being the guy who.
So that's not it's not under the act, is it? Isn't it under the regulation? It's the regulation.
Regulation, yes, regulation.
Right. So, sorry, please proceed.
Yes, master plan being the firm that provided the drawings and so on will be in a better position to give better advisory role.
But Mr. Sanyang, before you proceed, did you read very well that provision D that you are talking about? Because this is talking about a situation where if the person is involved, he ought to be disqualified. And you are saying, as an authority, you relied on this to grant approval. Or do our understandings,
maybe
the understanding
it's based,
you have and may have?
maybe our understanding, but let
because
me read.
This says any of the shall be disqualified.
Now, can I go over section
You said
97D?
D, yes.
A firm hired to provide consulting services for the preparation or implementation of a project and any of its affiliates shall be disqualified from subsequently providing goods or works or services related to the initial assignment, other than in the case of when subject to satisfactory performance of the initial assignment. So here there was an initial assignment, which was the provision of the drawings and so on. It is essential for continuity that there be a continuation of the firm's earlier consulting services for the same project.
But do you have proof that the initial assignment that they did was as is provided for here to allow you to make that decision?
Is strongly articulated in their minutes, and
no, I said you as an authority, for you to rely on this, because that is how you understand the provision. We may have a different understanding of what the process.
Probably
provision.
we can go further to find out what
Yes,
we
please
relied
find out
on.
whether you have evidence that led you to make that conclusion. I think, Council, it's a convenient point. It's after 2 for prayers and lunch.
There.
Yes. Mrs. Zanya, we may rise. Note that, and when we come back, we can proceed from there.
Okay, evidence of master plan.